Howdy, and welcome to the veritable edge of Western civilization. I just love saying that. So this is the latest update on the life of the artist, D.A.English. Today is November 6th. Not to be confused, I've learned with November 5th because I thought my doctor's appointment was yesterday, and I woke up and something said you should call him and check on that, and I'm glad I did, because they said, well, no, it's tomorrow. So I'm alive, and I have some good news. This appointment today was to review the results of the PET scan I did on October 17th. And in quoting Rachel Maddow, lots to get to in this one. So the main good news is that the PET scan revealed that the cancer hasn't spread anywhere else but in there, and causing these lumps, these swollen lymph nodes in my neck. So as I said, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, to quote Mark Twain. So if I seem a little ebullient at this point, this is why. What's happening is we discussed the treatment options that the allopathic doctors are recommending, and we discussed what I'm doing, what my treatment strategy is, and came to some accommodation, so to speak. So for those of you that are into the if you play the the stage game, what stage are you in? Everybody wanted to know when they first announced that I was diagnosed with cancer. They want to know, what stage you in? It's like whatever. It's important not to get hung up on the numbers, but these numbers are interesting. She said it was somewhere between I'm working with Dr. Hill at UCLA Harbor down in Torrance, and my practitioner physician's assistant here in Venice Family Clinic is Nancy Pierre-Paul. And the Dr. Hill said that it's between 2 and 3, so we're going to call it 2-ish because we can, right? So that's encouraging. And the significance of this number is that if I were to go ahead with the allopathic solution that they're offering, which is 10 weeks of chemo and radiation, which would consist of radiation 5 days a week for 10 weeks, and 3 massive doses of chemotherapy over that 10 weeks. If I were to go with that, it would start sometime the earliest would be the beginning of December, and then it could not start till January. So I would be finished sometime in February either way. And if I were to do that at this time, they feel that the prognosis would be good for an actual cure. So it's a curable carcinoma. Universe, thank you very much. Which, you know, good to know that there's that option. But it also makes it possible for me to try to accomplish the same thing using the naturopathic solutions that I've been working with so far, and adding a couple of new protocols. Like today I'm starting this massive, or as Linus Pauling called it, mega doses of vitamin C. So we're talking 10,000 milligrams a day. And he was suggesting that it may actually be not only a cure for cancer, but a cure for HIV. But you know, there's the science isn't completely in on that, and luckily I don't have HIV to worry about right now, thank you very much. But my intuition is telling me to focus on 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Just, I've been doing probably about 5,000. Just I make this drink with emergency, 2 packets of emergency, and each packet is 1,000 milligrams, with 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and you know, shake it up and shoot it down. And I've been doing that like a couple of times a day, every other day or so, and that feels really good. And so this is as good a point as any to get down into the weeds of what's going on. On Monday, my friend Heidi Hinkle, who has a acupuncture practice in the Pacific Palisades, had me over to do another scan on her sensitive imago machine. And amazing piece of technology. And one of the main things that came out of that is it actually measures, you know, it's like the energy signature of whatever maladies are going on with you. And so it has a, you know, veritable encyclopedia of all these different maladies and what their energy signatures are, and so it can pick them up in your when it does a scan, like a half-an-hour scan. And what it found was that there were five different viruses that are in my system, specifically challenging my immune system, and especially the lymphatic system. And there's 3 lymph nodes here that are swollen and congested, and they're trying to do the job, but they're not able to do it, obviously, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. So my philosophy and approach has been to support my immune system and support and empower and cleanse and detox and all this sort of stuff. That's what I've been doing up to this point. Now it's a matter of dialing it down and getting into the specifics of what specifically can I do to make this go down and this go away. And these 5, 2 forms of streptococcus, a form of staph, a herpes virus, and the papilloma virus, a variation of papilloma virus. This is not the papilloma variant that is sexually transmitted. As I've said before, there's over 100 different varieties of variations on this virus, and the HPV virus. And this is not your run-of-the-mill. This is a very specialized. I think I picked it up in a hot spring, and it showed up initially about 2 or 3 years ago as a sinus infection that was resisted every kind of anything I tried to get rid of it. Finally, I did a course of antibiotics last year, and that got rid of it. Got rid of the sinus infection, but it didn't. Apparently, this thing moved. You know, and this is all it. It evolved into this carcinoma. So my strategy is to do whatever I can to again support the immune system, but I feel like my immune system is strong. If I can neutralize those 5 viruses, then my immune system will be in a better position to actually attack the cancer cells. And we left it at, I would probably see her in about a month, and we would see how these protocols are the naturopathic protocols that I'm doing are working, and take it from there. And I'm open. You know, the idea that this is curable by their means is encouraging. It says that it's doable not just by that, it's doable, period. I can cure myself of this, and it's not a stretch. But this is going to take a lot of diligence, a lot of work on my part to stay on top of this on a daily basis. And that means, so what I'm doing right now with this idea is to I start the day with 8 ounces of Kangen water, you know, alkaline water. Then I do either a liver flush, which is 8 ounces of water, a lemon, a thumb-sized piece of ginger, about the same amount of garlic, and about that same amount of olive oil. And you know, you shake it up and grind it, you know, put it in a blender and shoot it down. And then I do a smoothie that is blueberries. I don't care whatever else is in there, but definitely blueberries. And from now on, it'll be blueberries and for the antioxidants, and cherries for the vitamin C. And then 2 scoops of the superfood, Dr. Schultz's superfood. One of the main things in there, besides all the greens and whatnot, is the nutritional yeast. And so that's nutritional yeast is full B complex. And black seed oil, 4 teaspoons of black seed oil, 3 droppers of black walnut, 3 droppers of green tea extract, and whatever else I can think of to put in there. Oil of oregano, oil of garlic. I do the smoothie, shoot the smoothie down, and then man, I've got ashwagandha root, 4 of those. What are we talking? Proline, lysine, some more of that green tea extract, and vitamin C. It's supposed to shrink tumors by 40%. I'm still doing the chaga tincture. I'm doing, which is immune support and kills cancer cells. Blushwood berry, squirt some of that in my mouth. That's anti-cancer and immune support. And this stuff called AAHC, that is immune support and kills cancer cells as well. I do that about 3 or 4 times a day. I'm also doing, continuing to do the alkaline protocol, which is 2 level tablespoons of baking soda and 8 ounces of water every couple hours, keeping my system as alkaline as I can. What else? Jesus. So now I'm trying to think of other things that I can do that will, dial in on getting this to shrink. And so that's what page I'm on, is trying to figure out what that might be. I've just looked up there's some South American herbs that are really berries, actually, that are good for high in vitamins, like 60 times the content of vitamin C as an orange, and high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. What else? So luckily this week in the past week I was able to make it to the hot springs. I found a really cheap bus ride from downtown LA. It's like $11 up to Bakersfield, where a friend picked me up, and we rode up to Remington Hot Springs. And as soon as I got there, it's at 2,400 feet, and it's a steep climb down, steep trail down, but it's not very long. But I got 3/4 of the way down, and my throat started bleeding again. And but luckily, it was a case of it was a little disheartening, because it was like all that I went through to get there. And but I was almost to the spring, and I was like, heck, it's going to take more to get up that hill right now than it is to just relax for a minute and make it the rest of the way to the spring. And I did, and it stopped bleeding, and I was able to finish the rest of the way and get in the spring, and I didn't have any problem after that. So, and it was so wonderful to be able to lay in the spring as the sky turned to stars. And we were so lucky, because as we were getting there, the people that volunteered to clean it were just leaving, and we had the whole place to ourselves. And then we spent the night, and then the next day we spent the whole day there and did the same. We went down about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and stayed till, that was Halloween. That's how I spent Halloween, was staring up at the stars. So much needed. I mean, I've been wanting to make it to the hot springs since Burning Man. I didn't really get to stay at the Sierraville after the Burning Man. Had to make it back here, so it was really wonderful. And made it back here on Friday. And what's going on artistically? Last week I released episode 7 of Enoch, and last night I started working. I'm about halfway through chapter 8, episode 8, and it's about 8 minutes, and I'm about halfway through it right now. So hope to get that finished this week. My computer is in good hands right now, being worked on by my good friend John Riley, who actually met up with us over at Heidi Henkel's and delivered a new technology, one of his technologies, live stream generators, and used me as a guinea pig to do a hands-on treatment there to show them, and so they recorded it and everything. And I spent like an hour and a half on their beamer machine, which I can't even tell you what that's all about. But I fell asleep while I was in there, and it was a great sleep, I have to tell you. And so one of the things that the sensitive imago picked up is that, you know, it tells you what foods are good for you, what foods are not good for you. It tells you what psychological factors are behind, you know, whatever disharmonies you're experiencing and that kind of thing. And one of the top psychological factor that it recorded was fatigue. And so I'm meditating on that. The other was fear of rejection. And the good thing about it being fatigue is that that's something I can do something about, you know. It's an easy solution. David, you need to rest more, you know. And when I thought, you know, when I left there, I meditated on it. I'm like, I just kind of look back on the same 4 years that I've been wrestling with the thing that started as a sinus infection. It was the same 4 years that I was working on, you know, 15 hours a day on, you know, writing and publishing all these books and movies and albums and whatnot, and working on the boardwalk and you know, finally the boardwalk, it's not really making any money, and this came up, and it feels like it's, you know, it's been kind of, the universe is saying, man, you need to, obviously, I need to rest more. And so I'm fond of saying that sleep is a discipline, and now rest is a discipline for me as well. You know, I need to what is the term? Replenish my stores. That's a good one. I like that. So, as you can see, it's kind of a beautiful gray day here at the beach. This is winter. This is what winter looks like in Venice Beach. It doesn't get much worse than this, thank God, and that's why I live here. I don't like being cold. So what else? I feel really blessed, by the way. Did I mention that? And grateful. I feel, as I've said before, I do not feel like a victim. I don't feel like this is happening to me. I feel like this is an opportunity, and I'm on a shamanic journey. And I've got a couple of things to say about that as well. So a manuscript that I've been working on for the past 9 years, apparently, or 8 years, sorry, is it's called the Natural History of Life and Death, and it's a sequel to Emergence Beyond 2012, which is all about the sites I found up in Big Sur. And it's a sequel in the sense that it covers all the stuff and information that's come forward since I put out the movie Emergence Beyond 2012 in 2010, and published the book in 2012. And so there have been some major developments in the past even 6 months on that score, and I'll get into that in another one of these talks. But what I can say about it right now is there's a partner of mine, really good friend. We've worked together since 1999 on these ideas, you know, working with ley lines and whatnot. And he's published a couple of books, Grail Found and Grail Bound, and he mentions me in them. And I knew that he mentioned me in them, but so anyway, I've been trying to finish reading them, and before I I put out my own book, I wanted to read his and try to get as much of that information as I can to put into the one that I'm about to put out. And so I've been kind of power reading it for months now, and I was actually reading it just before or as the doctor came in to give me the diagnosis on September 19th. And it was a very prophetic and profound moment, because the section I was reading was about the Hopi prophecy, the actual Hopi prophecy. The book, I think what he has in that book is probably the most succinct version and clearest version of the actual Hopi prophecy that I've ever read. And I was reading that, and then the doctor comes in and tells me that I have cancer. It's like, did you need anything to be more dramatic, I guess. But anyway, so the other day I'm coming back on the train from downtown LA from the hot spring, and I'm finishing the book. And it's like this whole book has been, it's got the science behind ley lines, essentially, the Earth energy grid, and what it has to do with the sun, and what it has to do with the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and all the galaxies in the region, and amazing information. And it's all leading up to the end of the book, and I turn to the last page, and it's like, and there's my name. It's like, what? And it says, he quoted me, and it says, he's getting to the point where he's trying to explain, like, what he thinks people should do with this information. And he quoted me, and me saying that, which has been a big part of my message through a lot of my work over the years, and that is, that we're all infinite and immortal beings, and that we've all chosen to be here at this time, and it's incumbent upon us to remember who we really are and where we really come from and why it is we chose to be here. And if we do that, then everything's we're going to be exactly where we're supposed to be, doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing, no fear. And it was just such a profound moment to there are these moments in your life where you're like, what difference do I make? And what difference does it matter to anybody what I'm going through, or what I'm, what my challenges are, or what do I matter, and that kind of thing? What kind of impact have I had? And so there's this moment where I'm like, reading my own name in this book that's about this profound topic, and it was just, there's my answer, I guess. I did something. I did something. I delivered a message that somebody else has taken up, and they're delivering it too, and so it's amazing. And then so I've been focusing a lot on my dreams, and trying to, as I mentioned in some of these earlier ones, that I really needed to, I know that I needed to, things manifest in the physical plane last, right? They begin on the causal plane, the astral plane, and the etheric plane before manifesting on the physical, right? So I felt that what I needed to do is connect as much as I can with the astral and the causal and the etheric planes, and to work on the template for the physical. And so I've been really doing I've been doing deep dream work for the past couple of years, sleep as a discipline, dreaming as a discipline, dreaming as a sacred thing. And my dreams have been really full. I'm very lucid, I'm very conscious in my dreams, and I pay very much attention to what comes through. And The other night, I had this dream where the message was really simple. It was like, we don't die. Dying is like just stepping into the next room, you know? And not that I'm planning to die anytime soon, other than the fact that in the Zen tradition, we die every minute, you know? So, if you're doing it right? So, still living out of the bus. Yesterday was street cleaning, and it was quite a movie getting the bus just to move across the street for street cleaning. Had to get it jumped and had to get, all the coolant. It was just, something's got to change there. Don't know how that's going to happen. Okay. Finances. Still haven't heard anything from Social Security on the disability claim. They say it could take 4 months. Looks like it might take 4 months. I have a pretty good feeling I'll be alive in 4 months, so I'm just going to operate as though I'm going to be alive in 4 months, because I can, and no matter what anybody says. I'm really feeling like I'm all joking aside, I really feel like I'm gonna pull through this, and I'll be around to bug you. So there, and to love you back. And yeah. So if anybody feels inclined to donate any kind of, or contribute any kind of financial support to what I'm trying to do here, you can do so through PayPal. You can go to my my website and click on the donation bins button down at the bottom of the page, the landing page, and it'll take you through to my PayPal thing. And no amount is too small, and I try to, if you don't have any of my ebooks, I can send you whichever ones you want. And right now that's how I'm getting by until something else happens. I might have to go back out on the boardwalk, even though it's the worst time of the year to do that, because we're down. I have enough to cover my bills I paid last month. I have enough to cover my bills for this month, most of them. And so it would be good to have some more, like I've got to get some more, some of these herbs and whatnot, and they're not cheap. So if anybody feels like donating, that would be really helpful. Yeah, so we're at 20 minutes. I always feel kind of rushed doing this, and afterwards I'm like, oh man, I should have shared this or that or whatever. And it always feels like an abbreviated version of what I was thinking, I'm hoping to make it up to Big Sur in the next couple of weeks. My next appointment with this oncologist is going to be probably a month from now, so I've got some time and to get out of town, which is what I asked for. She asked me, she's like, when do you want to see me again? It's like, well, how about next month sometime? Okay. And she says, so you're gonna is it okay if we can check in on you? You know, if we can just like, you know, do a scan to keep track of how you're doing with your protocols? And I was like, yeah, that sounds really good. I feel like we're all on the same team, we're all on the same page. And I have a little window, and I've assured her that, you know, if anything seems like, if it seems to me like this is going sideways, and I'll be able to tell, hopefully by doing another couple of scans with the Imago machine with Heidi, this scan that we just did on Monday, it showed actually that these those five viruses are actually getting weaker, incrementally, but they're getting weaker than they were in the three previous scans that we've done. So whatever I'm doing is working. I just need to do more of it, I feel. And so I assured her that I would, you know, if anything, if things start to look like they're going sideways, and this thing starts to look like it's going to be, you know, going systemic, that obviously I'm going to be on top of it, and you know, call in plan B. But plan A is full steam ahead, and so there, take that. All right, I think I've, you know, taken enough of your time. Thanks for listening. Feel free to contact. I really appreciate everybody. You know, I was talking to my good friend Snooky. I love her name, Snooky LaBelle, last night. She's a cancer survivor and feels it's her. I didn't know she was a cancer survivor, but she watched my thing, and she was like, I got to get a hold of David, you know, and she did. And we talked on the phone last night, and she said some really good things. She's like, you know, unless you've been through it, you really can't know. And there are some things that you just can't know. And she you know, she went through it by herself as well. And she was like, you know, there's people that will step up, and there's people that will step away, you know, and they all need to do that, you know. And I liken it to, you know, how I used to talk about like in a forest fire, there's two kinds of people. There's those that run to the fire and those that get the heck out of the way, and they both really need to do that so that the best thing can happen. Because and no harm, no foul, you know. I mean, just like there's situations where I've had to just turn people, you know, hang up the phone. I can't, or walk away, or just, you know, communicate. I have to stop talking now. I have to get off the phone. I can't, you know, I just don't have the energy for it, you know. And so if that, I love you no matter what. So there, take that. So here we come to my favorite part of this, which is where I get to beam you. This is me beaming love right at you, right into you. So there, take that. I love you, and thank you very much.